Welcome guys, I'm Chris with M7 Metalworks. Got a new project starting today. My brother brought this project over. This is an aluminum toolbox, goes in the back of the pickup truck. I'm going to cut out a small section, about a 7-inch wide by about 17 inches long, and make a deep well, and it'll be about 8.5 inches deep, so it'll add to the depth there, and that's so that he can put in kind of like a garden sprayer, only they're called B&G sprayers. He's a bug man, and so he'll be able to put these sprayers right down into his toolbox. And here I've got just a quick picture on the chalkboard of what the box I'm going to make, the size and dimensions, and I'm going to use some 1/4-inch aluminum plate. Kind of get the camera here straight. I'm going to show you 2 hash marks you'll see there. The second hash mark is because that's the offset I have to use for my straight edge, so that when I do use the plasma cutter, which you'll see here in just a second, that nozzle needs to be offset just a little bit so that where I'm cutting will be the second line there. And so that's kind of why I've done that. So you do have to take that kind of thing into consideration when cutting this. So here the aluminum plate is being cut with the plasma cutter. It cost about $12 for this at the scrap yard. Local scrap yard sells aluminum really cheap, but it does require a little more cleanup, obviously. You can see I've got just a little bit of slag there, and so I'll use a file here in a minute. You'll see that, and I'll kind of clean those edges up. I do apologize because this video is not going to be super detailed. I've cut out a ton of stuff, and here I've just sped up my using the file just to kind of get through that as fast as possible. But I had to do this with all 4 sides of the plate, and ideally you could have just plasma cut all but a 1/4-inch section top and bottom and just bent these in place. I chose just to cut them straight across just because it's just as easy to tack my corners up, and so that's kind of how I chose to do it. Okay, and so I've got the plate here, going to do a 90 with it and just tack up these sides. I don't do a good job at all videotaping this, and honestly on my welding I didn't videotape any of it. The welding was lengthy just because of the size of the box and so much linear inches of weld, but it's good practice for me, so I kind of relished it. I didn't have a problem doing that much. Learn a little bit with every job I do with this new TIG welder of mine. So you're going to see here in a minute, I'm tack welding right now, obviously, but you're going to see in a minute the finished product. So I skipped a ton, guys, and I apologize for that. I'm just trying to get a job done and really wasn't paying attention to the video camera as much as I really needed to, and trying to just make some progress on this job. Again, videotaping the back of my head's not all that educational, obviously, or entertaining. And here's the finished product welded to the bottom side of my brother's toolbox. Gonna work out real well for him to put his sprayers in there. Thanks for watching. I'm Chris with M7 Metalworks.